Y'all, this shop, this is where I have been. A lot of y'all have been watching. There is so much here from consignment cases. Yeah, but this is the post-party action.
It's a good mess, that's right.
So much places to break. If you like sci-fi, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Funko, all that. But then, all these guys have consignment cases with great stuff. It's cool because it's all different types. Each guy has kind of his thing he brings in to sell, from vintage to football to basketball. Amazing. I traded a bunch of those today. And then over here you got all the wax, where we were all night. Look, your dollar, dime, nickel, $2 hits, all this. But then look, Miele all over the place. Everything from Civil War, soccer, coins, vintage,
Show them the World War II.
jerseys. Yeah, oh yeah.
Blindside in World War II. And
Check that out. Saving Private Ryan, crew jacket and gift bag. To Ed Sheeran.
to Hank Aaron.
To Hank Aaron. To
go.
McGuire.
To Tebow.
To Tebow, of
To
course. I mean,
the
your
goat.
your Florida stuff
Yeah, man.
is awesome.
Sell it, though.
Check out all these.
Come on in.
It is awesome. And then, of course, everything from Star Wars wax.
Yeah,
There's
it starts
Jameel.
here. The wax and then down.
And then wax goes all the way down. Everything from your flawless to your elite extra edition.
$15 box to your $2,000 box.
And that's kind of the beauty of it. I love the places that have something for everybody. So, just had to show you all this store so you can see the diversity of it and like just everything. So this is where I'll be. I'm coming down. I'm going to come down for that Florida-Kentucky game now in Gainesville.
We're going to do it right.
We'll do it right.
We'll do it right. Maybe,
All right.
maybe we should make an annual Prism night.
like
every
that.
year, maybe we'll do it.
That would be really fun. All right, y'all. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later. All right. So, how are y'all doing? I am in Gainesville, Florida. I am not far from the swamp, but as a Kentucky fan, I'm already in the swamp in Gainesville. But I am here at Meelypops shop Meelypops.
That's right.
With Jameel, who, cool story. We met last year at the National and just started talking really briefly.
Yeah, it was brief.
And like super fast. But I remember thinking, like, I need to see that guy again. Because it was a really brief conversation. But I remember feeling that really strongly in the craziness that is trade night. Anyway.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan.
Big Ryan Johnson, in that craziness that he helped create, and he's the one that took it to that level, not me.
It was packed, man.
It was nuts, and I couldn't get out from a corner, like I was blocked in. But anyway, so we're talking during the fall, and sure enough, we're talking about Prism release and basketball, and he says, "Come on down." And we'll have a party and do the Prism basketball release party. And, like, I didn't need much more of an invitation from that. I was like, I am in, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And he had also talked to me about this card. He had messaged me, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But the whole point of this Case Hits YouTube is to meet with guys like Jameel and meet like Ryan and Andy and Neil, like all the guys that they're showing, and Jimmy at Mondesi, and say, how did you get here? Which is this wildly successful shop that is fairly new, 18 months, right?
Yeah, not even a year and a half yet. Yeah.
And what has led up to here? Not just in your collecting life, but also in why you do what you do.
Yeah.
What led you to this point? What's the purpose? What's the hopes?
Yeah.
What are the obstacles that you faced? All those different things that I think that a lot of people know, and I know because I've lived remotely before. Like I couldn't go to these shops. I couldn't get to these unless it was a big trip or something like that. And I know we got people abroad. Well, there's one shop in France, and our friends in France.
Hey,
I know, like Toman. All I got. Toman and Ludovic and his kids over there. Like, can I bring y'all into these shops to talk to the owners, to get to know these folks, and maybe you end up trading with somebody here or buying some stuff, and then that's awesome.
That's been going on already today.
Man, we've had a day.
Hey, it's not even like dinner time yet.
It's not even dinner time.
We haven't had the Prism party yet.
We had to get in here before 5 o'clock just because we know, like, we're about to have an 8 to midnight party here.
That's right.
But so, on that note, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
How did you start collecting? Like, what got you into just not even thinking about businesses? That's all later. What got you into collecting cards or things?
Yeah, so I mean, as a little boy, we as little boys just love going out and picking up things and all that stuff. And I remember I always like to go outside, like to play, just yada yada. But I remember being in the Dardine Elementary cafeteria. I think it was my first grade year in O'Fallon, Missouri, and I was in line, and they were handing out these little white. What they were promo baseball cards. Right. And I didn't know what the heck they were initially, but they were white. And Tom Pagnozzi was one. Ozzy's the Wizard was one. Right. Ray Langford was one. Lee Smith. That might have been it. It might be like a 4-card promo. Right. I got to find these cards because I've never seen them again. But they were given out maybe by the police or something to everybody in the lunch line. And I just remember thinking like, wow, I'm a Cardinals fan. I know I've been to Boucher with my dad once or twice. And I got this little thing now that has, I think first card I got was Pagnozzi. And I remember looking at it thinking like, man, how cool would it be to have more of these? You know what I mean? Right. And this is something like as a kid that I cherished. Right. You know? And it was simple. It wasn't anything special about it. I mean, I look at it now, it's like, I think it was a black and white card. It was just a very poorly colored card. Right. But it was just something cool for me. So I remember taking that home, and my mom noticed it, I think. And I got the 91 Topps Factory set as a little boy. And I remember going through it, like, all the numbers. It was just like, you know, when you open it up, it's like this fresh cut. You know what I mean? Now, granted, the 90s, there was probably about 90 million of these sets.
It's probably cheaper now than it was.
And I probably spent $10, $15, but it was a present to me. And I just remember thinking, like, I have all these baseball players in a box, you know? Yes. Like, and I remember, it, you know, just going through them, sorting it. What was even cooler was the Ozzie Smith card. I think he's running in shorts. I forget the image there, but the Ozzie card, like, he was a hero to me. Yeah. And that was a way for me to tangibly kind of connect with him. Now looking back, it's like, wow, there's a cool guy that I followed. I enjoyed the shortstop, the Wizard. Right. And now I have him in a box, and I have like a form of him, you know? Yes. And as a little boy, he's like, you know, 6, 7, 8. I don't know what my exact age was, but that was just neat, you know? And we didn't have the internet. We didn't have
like
smartphones.
That as a 40-year-plus-year-old, all right? It's still the same.
Yeah, you know? So that's really what got me into, like, that's what started it. And then it just snowballed from there, you know? Yeah.
So I got to ask this question a little bit in some of the article stuff, and I told Chris Sheridan when he interviewed me, I was like, cards are this perfect intersection between sports and history. Yeah. Where you get this snapshot of this year and this time. And like that Ozzie Smith card is like 8 years old in the cafeteria. Like that is captured, that thing, that piece. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously you grew from there. Yeah. Did you do this all the way up to and through the decision eventually to start a business? Or was this like you know, you hear people fall off in college a little bit or different things, and did it spread to anything else? Like, so you get this Ozzie Smith card, and then does your dad get involved? How does this grow? What seed? What water did the seed get from that point?
It's a great point. I love that analogy too with seeds growing. I think as a boy, the 90s, many kids had that stuff, right? They had a lot of it, and then they get older, and it either comes uncool or you just realize it's not worth that much or whatnot. I actually remember I started collecting Ozzie. I had a little case that I used to put Ozzie Smiths in. Right. We moved from Missouri to Florida in the 90s, early 90s, and it was 92. I was still dabbling in cards and here and there, but it wasn't anything huge. Right. And this guy named Shaquille O'Neal got drafted to the Orlando Magic.
Of course.
You know, so I was in Rockledge, Florida, and my mom, my dad, and I were watching Orlando Magic games. Well, my dad went to a card shop. It was called Bases Loaded card shop in Rockledge, Florida. Of course, there was, I think, in Brevard County at that time, there was 12 card shops in the county. We got 13 in the state right now in Florida.
It's unbelievable.
It's absolutely unbelievable. So he went to a shop. He pulled a Shaq. It was like some special insert, Rebound King or something. Right. Rookie. And he played Pack Wars, and then he won like a Mystery Redemption Topps Finest Black Gold or something like that. And he came back and he's telling me about it. So then he started giving me basketball cards. Now, I love basketball, the sport, but I didn't realize how much I loved it following it until watching the Magic, Shaq, Penny Hardaway the next year. You know, we talk about people like Dennis Scott, Darrell Armstrong, Nick Anderson. Yeah. You know, they beat the Bulls in 94, 95, I think it was, when Jordan come back. It was like, man, we got Jordan, you know what I mean? Made it to the finals. So, like, that era of just basketball cards got me more intrigued because now it's like, I'm more of a teenager, getting in middle school, late elementary, middle school.
Right.
And I'm getting into basketball now. I'm playing
Right.
basketball. I got the Air Penny foam, the foams.
Foam posits. I'm a sneakerhead, so you're right on my wheelhouse.
You know what I mean? The white, I remember playing YMCA basketball, going out on the court thinking I was Penny Hardaway. I was a pretty good point guard. And it was just one of those things that, it all culture meshed.
Right.
Now, when I think about that, that can't happen today because there's so much more from the media side.
Right.
And card collecting has changed, right? Media is a big element, social media, all these things. But life was so simple then. For me, it was, you had these cool shoes you got at the mall that you never really could get on the, you had to hope to get them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a present. It was something I cherished. I didn't have a lot of money growing up, so something I really cherished.
Right.
And then I started getting Penny Hardaway cards, and chat cards and more Magic cards.
Right.
Started doing flea markets with my dad, selling stuff here and there, making a buck.
Right.
I remember when I was it's so funny. I used to make
your dad was taking you to flea markets. Was this a weekly
shop
thing?
first. We would shop first. We'd go buy cards, and then he would be like, you know what, we should start going to sell stuff. You know what I mean? And we did. I would have all my cards out, and I would memorize my prices. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put stickers. You know what I mean? Because who does stickers, right?
Right.
And so we'd have them out. And I'd be selling to guys who were 30, 40, 50, 60 years old at the flea market, which was awesome. But I wasn't a dealer or anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we did that. And then I remember, what was it? My dad got some sort of Beanie Babies or something, and he had bought some from some guy.
Right.
And he goes, I'm going to try and sell these on this internet site called eBay. It was 96, 97.
Good idea.
Something like that, right? And that was just when I started. I remember, this is going to be funny. I don't think I ever told a story. I used to go on eBay and buy from these different guys who had auctions for autos, cheap autos, because it was I could get an autograph card.
Right.
And I used to send cash through a plain white envelope, and it would always be $136. You got an auto, right?
Right.
And you'd have to add shipping. And I would take a 3x5 card, and I would tape the change to the 3x5 card and put the cash in the envelope and send it off to get these cards. That's how I would pay. I didn't have PayPal, right?
Right.
So that's how I would pay, and then I would get these. I would have all these autograph cards and jersey cards, which were so new back then. You know what I mean?
And not that prevalent.
Right. It was very rare to get in the late 90s, and then you get in early 2000s, and I got into those kind of things. But the collecting went through high school, up to high school, and then I just kind of fell off. I graduated 03. So we know a guy who came in the NBA right around that time, and I stopped collecting to about 08. So being a basketball guy, the worst time
just timing
to stop getting into
not that you would have had money for exquisite stuff,
exactly,
but still
the worst time. So I got out, and what's really funny, I don't know if a lot of people know this about my story, is people are like, what got you back into it? Because that's when the business came into it. So I got to give props to the internet and the forum sites. So Sports Card Forum, SCF, I learned, I was in my master's program at UF. I was studying to be an OT. And I got out, started making a little bit of money. I was like, I can go buy cards and trade with people on Sports Card Forum.
Right.
And I did, and I started trading. And then it was Blowout.
Right.
Beckett. There's some other ones, Trading Collectors. There's all these different sites. And I was building, and I never, you got to be savvy with it because you can get scammed.
Of course.
But I built my collection up, the 08 football draft class. I remember Matt Ryan, Darren McFadden, Joe Flacco, Sean Jackson, Malcolm, all these different names that were so important in that 08 class. And it got me back into it. And I actually returned to cards through football, and then it was basketball again. Durant's, the Currys, the Blake Griffins.
So, and you're living in Florida still?
Yeah, I was at college. It was at college, yeah, right. And it was in Gainesville.
So you're in Gainesville, and of course during that time, it's Donovan's winning titles. You've got the football team with Urban Meyer winning titles. So sports is a huge focus just in town.
5 letters, Tebow, Tebow. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what it would have been like here.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was so lucky in my college experience. I was able to go to all those games in 2006 with Chris Leak and Tebow as the backup. Then you have the basketball team winning that year. 07 Tebow winning the Heisman. And then basketball back to back.
Right.
Donovan, Noah, Horford,
I watched
everybody.
A lot of those guys.
Yeah,
too many of those guys.
There were some interesting Kentucky matchups there.
We were not good.
It was a wild time for Gainesville because we never won basketball. So we went back to back, and then 08, it was my last semester. We make the national championship, and I applied for the student tickets and didn't get it. and I got a phone call 2 days before the national championship, Oklahoma, Sam Bradford, Boomer Sooner, all those,
Right.
and Tebow and the Gators, Percy Harvin, all these guys. And there was a ticket office that said, "You haven't claimed your ticket." And I was like, "I think I got the wrong number. I don't have a ticket, ma'am." She goes, "Check your spam email." So I went to my UFL EDU account, and I see, "Congratulations, you've won a ticket." So I got to go to the national championship for like $100 in the end zone for that incredible game against Oklahoma, that fourth quarter where you guys see Tebow going nuts. I mean, in the locker room. So yeah, I got to go to that, and that was just like the pinnacle of sports. So that really got me more like hyped in sports. And then the cards just kind of naturally fell, you know.
Oh, they grew right in.
Yeah.
There's a great documentary on Secretariat.
Yeah.
And in that, one of the writers talks about how when you're around greatness and a little piece of glitter falls on you, because he was talking about how people didn't cash their Triple Crown tickets, like $2 tickets on Secretariat, at the Belmont after he won the Belmont. And he's like, people want to hold on to that little piece of greatness. They get to keep that. Yeah. And I always thought that was a really cool thing about cards, because it's that same thing of the intersection of sports and history and time, that snapshot, that it's like a Polaroid.
Yeah.
But to go to the game and then come back, and then now you fall right into it. But so you went to school though for OT, like that. This is.
I was working with youth too at that time. I know a big thing we share is just I was a youth minister, you know, for kids, and really like trying to like grow a community of kids, really work with kids that really had just some really hard, you know, stuff going on in life. I mean, I'm very thankful for the life I have, but I think it's important that we give back and seek that out. You know, find others and help others. And so I was doing youth group for about 7 years, leading a group in town, and then I was kind of getting back into cards, finished my OT, you know, degree, and when was it? Got married to my wonderful wife in 2010.
Who's awesome.
She runs the shop right now. What do you think? We're just in the back.
Yeah, we're in the back. We're in by the breaker room.
The bellows of the store here, and she's just running everything. She's awesome. And we met, fell in love, and we just decided to stay here in town. And it just kind of grew from there. Now I'll tell you right now, I never ever my wildest dreams thought I'd own a card shop. Right. You know what I mean?
That's my next stuff.
Never. So like in 2010 we get married. We have this small apartment and we have a second room, right? So it became the eBay room. And I started getting really into buying and selling, buying and flipping, but not necessarily collecting at that time. I was just buying and selling. Right. I bought a video game store out. Didn't really know much about video games, but I knew I could buy and flip it on eBay. So we did. And then it started to go to card shows. And started, you know, setting up at card shows. You know, the flea market mentality comes back.
I was going to say, a lot of this you can see for your dad with flea markets and Beanie Babies and different things. Like, well, he was seeing what's the trend and selling it.
Yeah, exactly. Make a few bucks, you know what I mean? And so I think in 2019, the side hustle is so important to a lot of young people. I encourage everybody out there. Don't be lazy. You know, follow what you're passionate about. Yes. And the side hustle doesn't have to be greedy. You don't have to make a gazillion dollars. No. But you can also really change your life. You know what I mean? Meet a lot of people, change people's lives. I mean, we've talked about giving, how important it is to not be greedy, but give back in that. So, getting off track, but so
no, it's all on track.
Yeah, I was selling at card shows. I started buying people out, and then it was then I started going to card shows to look to buy out and not to sell. And we had this huge. We bought a house and had this whole room and storage units, and Meredith's like,
you start buying collections and things like this.
Yeah, collections. I was buying collections and just looking for deals here and there, going to card shows, meeting people, blowout threads. Oh yeah. And I took a leap of faith. It was 2000. I think it's up on the wall there. Our Meelypops shop banner, Chicago 2015. Yeah. Then it went to Atlantic City. Then it went back to Chicago. Then it went to Cleveland. And then it went to Chicago. Yep. So it was 14 or 15. And I did well. Sold out. Actually moved a lot of inventory. Bought, rebought, sold. Yeah. And I realized, like, you know what? I'm doing all this stuff. Like, I've been given this knack, this ability, this gift, if you want to call it, to just be able to buy and sell and know a market quickly. You know, why not? Try and maybe think about doing this as a brick and mortar. So we opened the shop in 2000. I mean, the long story, but 2018, June 9th last year. Percy Harvin did our opening, our grand opening. He came in. He did an autograph.
That's a big thing.
Yeah,
Percy Harvin. Like, how did you meet Percy Harvin, and how did he help come do this?
So this is a guy who was just at the national championship watching, right? A few years ago. And here's the cool thing about Percy Harvin is, like, such a nice guy. I reached out to his agent, who then said, here, talk to his sister, who was a lawyer, and I think she represents him in some things. And she and I talked, and she's the nicest. Her name's Lentera, super sweet. We shared just a little bit about what their nonprofit was. And I said, would he be willing to do this? We would come back to Gainesville, do our grand opening.
Right.
Percy's never met me at all.
Right.
And man, it went like seamless. Like I can't believe how much laughing we had back. We were in this back room doing autographs and taking people out, and people were just excited to see Percy. Kids were just,
they're going nuts.
Their eyes are so big, and it just showed me like, all right, I think you've done it. You know what you need to do now. Here's a shop. You've created a community. Now let's grow it. And this year and a half, I've just really spent pouring back into the community and trying to find ways to connect in the community, so we're not just a card shop, but we're a place where people can, and I say this, where they can have an experience,
right,
and they can leave here feeling like they didn't get fleeced, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's what I want to talk about too, because it's one thing that's interesting, like talking with the RBI crew and those guys, and
shout out to Ryan. It's right behind us.
Yes, each of those guys that have I've been talking to on this, there's always a goal of community and not just a card shop.
Yeah. And
you say that. So what is it that you're trying to build, and why?
Yeah.
Through cards. It always seems like cards is a vehicle.
Yeah.
For the good guys in the hobby. So why do you do that? Because not everybody does.
Yeah,
Certainly it's just a paycheck for some. Why do you do that? And what is it you're trying to create?
Yeah. I think the real simple answer, and then I can go into detail, is I don't have a jersey card of him, or I don't have an autograph of him, but it's Jesus Christ. He said to love God and to love others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the two greatest commandments. All these kind of crazy Pharisees were asking him, and he said, this is what you need to do. Break it down. And he said to love God, love the God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and strength, and to love others as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you really think about what that means, to love others as yourself, to like every time you eat, every time you open a pack, every time you ship something off on eBay, whatever it is,
right?
To think about others in that. And so like our store is a place, for people to come and just to know like they can be here, and there's a community of people.
Right.
Necessarily, I'm not talking you have to be a Christian or not, but like that you're going to be loved and listened to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sports is going to be the vessel that's going to be something we all can have a great time in. Like you and I have talked about so much sports, faith, just this weekend, just hanging out, talking all these just correlations,
awesome.
And you just realize like, man, like the card shop, it's more than cards. You know what I mean? And here's what I and this is kind of a plug that I tell a lot of people, like, if you're in cards right now and your focus is solely your collection, and it's solely, oh crap, I got to get that card that just popped on eBay. I have to buy it. I have to make an offer. Oh, he's not taking my offer. What a jerk he is. If it's always about you and like how you build up your collection,
mm-hmm.
and you're not thinking about others. A guy came in today, gave Kentucky a Tyler Hero Silverado. He just pulled out of a prison box. It's not about him, right? And how cool is that for you?
Guy,
you know what I mean? How cool is that
guy,
to just hook you up? Yeah, John B. And just so for us in the store, kids, who, in our culture, I feel like, innocence and like just those things are just being robbed day and day, and we've worked in it. You know what I mean? And
we have.
And you just say, hey, maybe this is a safe place for kids to come have fun. Their parents know they can bring them here. Moms and dads can have memories with their kids. They can open a pack or come to an event.
Right.
And these memories are there where they know, like, there are some things in this world that are pure and genuine and true, So that's what our heart is in the shop. Now, you kind of said, what do I hope to become, to create? At first, I thought it would be a shop. You have a business, you grow a business, you scale it, you have all these different things.
Right.
But the more I've gotten into it, and the more you interact with people, you realize maybe the shop is a vessel to be just kind of an outlet to the community to help people. And let cards be the driving force for that. You know? Who doesn't like to open up a pack of something with who knows what's inside?
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether it be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports, basketball, football, wrestling, Stranger Things, Star Wars, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Basketball, which we all love. There's something so unique about that. And to give people cards and to have a card ready for somebody when they come in the shop. Like, hey, guess what? Here's what I have for you. It just makes people's day, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a grand card. It could be a $3 autograph.
It doesn't have to be $1,000 LeBron on it. It can be just something simple. And because even with guys that collect really big stuff and expensive stuff, when you talk to them, and myself definitely included, like some of my favorite stuff is not expensive stuff.
Right.
It's the De'Aaron Fox Mojo or something like that. Like that's got a cool story behind it. That's what I love. Yes, I do the other stuff, and I love it, and that's all part of it. But there's a difference between transactional and transformational.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can intersect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like a card can be a transactional thing.
Yeah.
But it can also be a transformational
Yeah.
thing. So if your intent is right, it can be both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is crucial. And I think that's what you do. I think it's what Bannister does, and Ryan, all these other guys.
Yeah.
Andy,
and we need
Carter,
more people like that in the car. And I think it's so cool to think like there are people around this country pushing that, but we need more people. And there may be people. I don't know if you're watching this as a car store owner or somebody who goes to a car shop regularly. You guys can be the change. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, there's a generation of young people that how unique. We were talking about last night in the car. How unique it is to like have collectibles and cards of tangibility, like and worth and value, and to share that with people.
Right.
Not a lot of other things like that in our culture right now because it's so self-oriented, right?
Right.
But like because we have that, let's push that. Let's do more of it. Cards. I mean, it is so great to see what's growing in cards with like investment and people talking about it, and I love that. And it can be about the money sometimes. People get a little jaded.
Certainly.
But let's use that as a vessel to get more people excited about cards. You know what I mean?
I think it's really unique because, and we were talking about this last night, but with so much of our world is digital and fun, and I love it, and I'm a gamer, and all these different things.
Yeah.
But with cards, it's one of the few things where you want the physical thing. Like you talk to people with bookstores, I just love books, I want a physical book, and other people like, I just want to download it right now. And a card, you kind of got to have it.
Yeah.
And in person, and the rest of it doesn't work, and you look at a lot of that with some of the digital stuff they try, and it would seem like it worked, but no. And especially with the younger folks. So then that creates usually some type of interaction.
Right.
So then it's what type of interaction will that be? Right. And you are dedicated to making sure that that interaction is going to be a positive influence.
Sure.
And it can be soothing. To me, we were talking about last night that also, like, to me, just sorting, forget the value, just sorting, putting in pages, doing all these things, like, that's soothing to me. And for some of these kids, I know for sure. And but it's not an age specific thing. It's soothing for me at 43 to do that. Yeah. And I think that's special. Now, of course, when you get a brick and mortar shop, you end up getting lots of crazy stories. Right?
Yeah.
So I love asking all this of everybody, but brick and mortar, of course, these guys have to deal with everybody coming in all the time being like, here's my collection. Is this worth $1 million? And it's like, no, that's worth $7 and some jawbreakers and maybe like 2 empty aluminum cans.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe one's full.
Probably one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always love asking these questions because the stories are awesome. But first of all, what's the craziest thing that you've seen that somebody came into the shop saying, is this worth anything, or do you want to buy this?
Okay. So this I get asked a lot, and it's important. Yeah. I've only been this game for 1.5 years, right?
Right.
So remember that, and I can't imagine what other stores they're going to have. But I actually, and it just came to this, I have 2. Can I share both?
Please.
This is okay. So I'm going to share the one that happened about 6 weeks ago, and you're going to blow your mind. It's not the one I have. I'm going to show the picture next. Okay. So it's a Saturday, and Meredith she had a hair appointment or something. And I was supposed to get someone else to help cover, because on Saturdays we get busy. But me, as a new kind of owner and all this, I forgot. And I can handle the store myself. So it's a Saturday. The store is crazy busy. We have or if you ever come to our shop, you'll see we have a big area out in front.
I'm going to show. They're going to get a video of everything.
You'll see. I just wanted the store to be organized, and also be opening so you have space, and you're not elbow touchings, So it's like 20 people in the store, all different pockets. Pokemon's going on. Other people, some guy's trying to sell me something. Another guy's trying to sell me something.
Right.
Trying to check people. I'm by here. I'm like, I should have scheduled somebody.
Right.
So out of the corner of my eye, I see an older lady walk into the front door. She has a purse. And I'm thinking, okay, we get, different crowds. Maybe she's a collector, whatever. Yeah. But it's kind of not focusing on it. So she kind of circles around, and she's over by the register to my left. Now I'm dealing with 5 other things going on. Somebody's trying to sell me Beanie Babies, and I'm trying to explain to them I don't want them. They're like, well, I don't want them either. And I'm just like, I don't want these. Please take these away. And I come across, and the lady says, hey, I just stopped by the Walgreens. I live in New York. I'm down here to visit a friend. I've kept this card in my purse. Could you tell me if it's worth anything? And I said, oh, okay. Oh, boy. So she pulls out a card, and I see on the top, it's got the Topps hologram. and it's an uncirculated card. And I kind of, at the glance of my, I just kind of see it. So she hands me, and before I tell you what it is, she goes, this is something my son had. We had it back in the day, and I just kind of kept it. I don't think it's worth much. Would you mind telling me what it is, how much it's worth? And I didn't ask her if she wanted to sell it or anything like that. I just kind of, there's a lot going on. 2003-04 LeBron James X Factor.
You're kidding.
Yeah, out of 220.
You're kidding.
Out of 220.
I did not know this story.
Out of 220. And
in her purse.
In her purse. She's kept it for 15 years. She just keeps it in her purse. And I go, oh my gosh, yeah, like this card's worth quite a bit. She goes, oh wow, would you mind looking it up? And I said, well, in my mind I'm thinking, I know what this card is worth. I mean, so I go over to the computer because I'm trying to, like, in my mind, like, realize what's happening. Like, what kind of offer can I make her that's fair?
Right.
And so I come back. I mean, I know, the grades are just up there. And I just simply said to her, I said, do you want to sell this, ma'am? I said, she goes, I don't really know. It's my son's. I have to ask him. So I'm already like, ugh.
Right.
I'm not going to get a chance to buy this. And the store's crazy, right? So another guy's asked me, kids asked me this. And I'm like, so I have about 30 seconds. And I said to her, what do you think it's worth, ma'am? Do you have any idea?
Right.
And she says to me, she goes, I think it's about $100 or $200, right? And I said, ma'am, this card's worth multiple thousands of dollars. I said, I'd like to make an offer for you. I'd buy it from you today.
Right.
And she just, it was the sweetest thing. She just kind of smiled and she goes, oh, that's really nice. I'm going to talk to my son about it. And I said, can I make an offer? Can you call your son? Right. And she said, well, I didn't want to sell it. I've had it in my purse for 14 years or 15 years or something like that. And so she put it back in her purse. I got her phone number. I've reached out to her. She lives... I think she lives.
Did she have it? Like, what? Hold on.
No, it was in the.
I've
case.
got so many questions.
It was in the purse, in the case, like just because it's. I mean, obviously, if you have a card in a mag, right? So she, in her mind, the card's in the uncirculated, so it's protected. You know what I mean? And I'm not kidding you guys. It was like dead centered. Like, yeah. And so I just gave it back to her and said, "Ma'am, please, I'd really like first chance to buy this from you." And she goes, "Well, I'll be back down in January, February. So maybe in January, February." We can talk about it, see if she comes back. But I do have her phone number, and I don't like to badger people. Right. I followed her up with a text and a phone call. But I'll be sure to call her again maybe after Christmas. But that was one of the crazy stories that just happened 6 weeks ago. So that's one. And she, by the way, she went to Walgreens to stop off the interstate to just get like a drink, and she saw my store just at the Walgreens. So like she's from New York, like she had no idea about our store at all. Right. And she was just there. And she had a LeBron James X Factor. And somehow she wound her way in the store and was able to meet me. It was just really cool.
Like, it's crazy, too, because I think of, like, Andy Card Exchange's story that he told me about the letter from Topps. And it's always, like, Meemaw. It's always Grandma that comes in with the craziest thing. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah, man. In her purse for 15 years.
And it was her son's, and I think it was more like a keepsake. Yeah. Just because her son and her liked basketball. Yeah. And she liked LeBron, but she said he wasn't into cards, and it was just crazy. So LeBron X Factor, that's first story. Second story, 2018, right before the National in Chicago. Right. No, Cleveland was last year. Sorry, we were just in Chicago. Cleveland. So this has been about 2 months since we're open. Not even a month since we're open. A lady pulls in with a big Ford Crown Vic. I see it out the window. Oh yeah. She reverses in, and I'm like, oh boy, here comes here we 91 go. Fleer. I just the orange and yellow cards, and the Donners. I just can't wait to just sink my teeth into, the Fleer 92, 91, 92. Oh, you know what I mean? The gloss, the chunks of cards that you could just throw like a softball. So she comes in and she says to me, hi, so-and-so, my husband passed away a while ago. I have some cards in the back. Would you mind looking? I said, sure. We got to talking as I'm looking through the cards, and I found out that she is very adamant about helping teenage girls with pregnancy in town here in Alachua County. And there's a center in town, and she was just helpful with these girls' classes, and just a cool organization, and just being a sounding board. Right. A lot of kids need to listen and hear them out, help them as they go through pregnancy and all these things. So it's really cool, and I'm just thinking, how can I help this lady? Like, I'm looking at these, and the cards were wet too, so they were all like destroyed. And so I just told her, I said, ma'am, there was like 18 5-row count boxes too. I was like, I can't use any of these. It wasn't gonna work. And she said, okay. She said, there's something else I have in my car, and it was at the bottom of the boxes. So I was like, okay. And she goes, yeah, my grandpa. Now this lady was about 60, 70. My great grandpa, I think it was her great grandpa, used to play. She goes, used to play basketball with a famous baseball player. So then you look and you're like, what? She goes, yeah, at Carnegie. And so I said to her, I was like, okay. I said, why don't you go and get it? So she walks out, and I'm thinking, who in the world is a famous basketball player? This is like 1900s to 1920s. What in the world is going on?
Right.
So I'll show the camera first, and then I'm going to show Jimmy. Jimmy has
I
not
won't
seen
look.
this. He has not seen this at all. She hands me this photo. Okay. This photo here.
I won't
camera.
look. I won't look.
So I can get it so it doesn't shine so much. So you can focus in on it. Okay.
I love this stuff.
Oh,
so
man.
much.
Okay, that's even better. All right. So this photo, it's not the best. Sorry, guys. You guys can see it. Oh, maybe there. We'll upload a better photo online somewhere. So it's this photo. I'm going to hand it to Jimmy now. Of Honus Wagner.
Oh my gosh.
On the Carnegie basketball team in 1910-1911. Now he's in the middle there with the giant arms.
Oh my gosh. That dude looks like Bo Jackson.
And
this is ridiculous.
Honus Wagner used to cross train with the Carnegie team, and when he played for the Pirates in the offseason.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of 5 or 6 pictures, I think, of Honus Wagner, type 1s, because it's actually glued to that backing right there. 6 known pictures of him playing basketball. Now here's the crazy thing.
6.
You see the rip?
Yeah.
That's because all the 90s Donruss was on top of
No.
it. There's a
90s Donner strikes again.
It takes away so much more than we could ever dream of.
A team photo of
yeah.
Honus Wagner in college.
In basketball. So check out the uniform. See the ball? 1910,
oh my
1911.
gosh.
So it had everybody in the back, and I forget
the shoes. Looks like bowling shoes.
And she told me her last name, and actually her grandpa is. I'm trying to remember which one. I think that was her grandpa. That guy.
Oh my!
So he was right in front of her in line. So it was a really, really cool historical. You talk about historical piece, and the crazy thing about it was she had no idea. And I said to her, she goes, "Do you think this is worth anything?" I said, "Ma'am, I do think this is worth something." So, long story short, I said to her, I'm going to the National. Let me try and sell it for you. Because it's ripped, I think it's going to hurt the value of it.
Right.
But I wound up selling it to a guy who was a photograph connoisseur. Really nice guy. And here's a cool thing. This is something for everybody to learn.
That's unbelievable.
I took this to 4 different, I won't name names, auction houses. And they each said to me it was only worth $100 to $200. And I said to them, you guys, there's no way. And they said, well, it's ripped, and yada, yada, and there's photos. I said, but this is a type 1. Like, how can, and so, anyways, we put it out. I sold it for $2,000 to a guy. I really wanted $3,000 for it.
Right.
And I told the lady, I said, whatever I do, I'll display it. It's going to cost me money because it's going to take up space at the National.
Right.
I said, we'll just split it 50-50. And she said, that's fine. So I wound up coming back, and I wrote her a check for whatever it was, half of what we sold it for. I think it was $900,000. And she just couldn't believe it. She was like, that was worth that much money? And I said, yeah, and here's the check. And now she took that money to go help, teenage
teen
girls.
Pregnancy.
Yeah, teen pregnancy in Alachua County. So,
like, what an amazing thing to walk in the door.
Her.
Like, you couldn't make that up.
It's crazy. Like, so there's a view there for the iPad.
Between that.
Sorry, guys, not the best.
Yeah,
There's too much glare. Oh, I know how to fix this.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely upload a picture.
We'll get a picture. So
you
guys
it looks like they're in cargo shorts and like bowling shoes.
And Honus Wagner in this is just a beast. He's the guy, as you can see from the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Arms.
He's the third guy behind the coach, or he's third from the last in line. So yeah, he was giant. We'll get a picture of it. I'll send it to Jimmy so we can upload it. So. Anyways, there's 2 stories. It's a year and a half. That's all I got.
In 18 months, so like, what else is coming, right?
I got the X Factor and the Honus Wagner. I mean, I've seen some other cool stuff, but those are really, really unique things. There was a Gator program scorecard autographed by Mickey Mantle, because the Yankees played the Gators in the offseason for 2 years here. That was really unique. Just other cool stuff has come.
You think, and obviously it is. And like I said, I'm going to show pictures and video walking around the shop and show it, like, what a sports town mecca focus this place is.
Yeah.
And from Pete Alonso being UF guy and Percy Arvin to Tebow, of course, and everybody else.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal, you go on and on.
There's a ton. White Chocolate.
Jay Swims. I saw his last game in Rupp.
I love him. Yeah.
So, what about pulls in the shop?
Oh, cool.
Like your favorite that you've seen your guys, your customers hit.
Yeah.
And it just, because I watched the video of a guy hitting a Luka Doncic and a break out of here.
Brian was breaking, right?
Yeah, Brian was breaking, and everybody went nuts.
Call him the Money Bison. Yeah.
I just love those.
Yeah, so we've just started our breaks, and Meelypops breaks. If you're interested, you can find us on Facebook. We'll eventually get to a dual stream on YouTube, but it's just simply a Facebook group right now. We have an Instagram shop, Meelypops. You can find all of it through there. But the breaks have been so cool for us because I've tried to take what we talked about earlier, this community idea and a card shop, and apply it to a breaking group.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's fun. You know what I mean? We're not jumping around and doing crazy stuff, but when we hit big things, we're excited for everybody else.
Right.
And I love it when people in our group, when someone hits something big, other people are happy for them. You know
yes,
what I mean?
That's the
best.
best.
I always tell them, like, man, I'm so stoked for you. I'm so happy for you. So glad for you. So just the other Friday night, it was Black Friday. Someone hit a Luka Doncic optic contenders, the base auto redemption, $1,800, $2,000 card. Yeah. Everybody was happy for the guy. It was his first break he'd done in a while because he'd been saving money and stuff. So in the shop,
that's the best when dudes have been saving up, and they get that one box and that one break and they hit it.
That's the best. So I haven't uploaded this video. I'll have to do it sometime. We did the first Zion autos came out. Remember the contenders? So I managed to get one FOTL box. So I do a lot of breaks where I try and make them unique. I might throw an FOTL box in the first off the line panini, or I might add in other things.
Right.
We try and make breaks a little bit different too, so it's more fun and just different challenges that maybe you only do a random team or pick your team. Well, maybe we'll do some, like we did a Black Friday break where everybody got a team across 3 sports. Right. We did 4 cases, so that was fun. We're sitting here.
Right.
Contenders. Open the case. We save FOTL for the end. Open the case. Now, Tim got the box for me. The Tim you had last night. Go and play it, Tim. And he sold it to me. And I said, thanks, man. I'm going to use it for the break. It's going to go to the Meelypops breaks. So we opened the whole case. Not a very strong case.
Right.
It was not very good. And we got to the FOTL box. Now, I don't know what the timing, how this worked out, but Brian was sitting next to me the whole time sorting. And for some reason, Brian had to go to the bathroom. So Tim was around, and I just said, Tim, can you help me? So Tim's sitting next to me now, and we're now opening live the FOTL box. Last box has the chrome auto because you got one in every box. The optic contenders.
Oh yeah, the contenders optic chrome.
Take it out. Tim's sitting right next to me. We open it. Last card. Slide. The very last card of the break was the Zion, the base auto, which was actually, or no, I think it might be the Hyper Prism or something.
Right.
But incredible card, on card autograph.
Right.
We lose it, and Tim's just sitting there like. He got all quiet and standing in the corner. I'm like, you big baby. You sold me the box. I gave you good money for it. But like one of these things where it was just like one of these things that was just so cool. Down like last shot. Last shot. You know what I mean? And
like last box today.
We lost it. Last box today.
Right.
Yeah. Jimmy pulled a monster off the last box of the shelf today. But that's been a big one. Shout out to Bill French. Last Black Friday too. It's always Black Friday. Last Black Friday we pulled him in 2018. Immaculate Football had come out. He opened 3 personals. Second personal, he got a shield, Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, and we were just so stoked for him. Next box we opened, another shield, Patrick Mahomes 101 auto. And I remember calling him that night, or on the live, I was like, I don't even want to touch this card, just come get it, please, because I don't want to leave it at the store. It was like 2 a.m., so he came and got it. So we have fun with it, is what I'm trying to say, Jimmy. It's like we have fun with breaks, and there's a lot of other ton of stuff that we've hit, but you got to have fun with it and be happy for people. And there's been breaks I've got in, just so you know, this happens once in a while, and I might get something. I might get in a random. I hit the Mavs one time. We pull 3 Luka autos. So what I do? I'm making tons of money. Right. Let's just start throwing extra boxes in that break for people. Right. You'll never find that anywhere else. But like, I'll just try and help people out because I know I'm doing well in this. Right. And so I'm just helping out everybody else. So then we put another box in, I hit another Luka auto, put another box in, just because it was just fun for people. And I know you don't have to be so. I'm getting into the greedy part, right? Right. I know
and it's an easy thing to do, and you see it in here all the time. And so you all know when we talk about this, it's never to downplay making money and doing a good job. There's just a way to do it. Right. And I like exposing and showing all the viewers and all that. There are really good people that do this well and make a lot of money and have a lot of fun, and they're not jaded and they're not all this different things. So in that vein too, I wonder, for the Jamil 2.0, who was out there.
Yeah.
You've only been doing it 18 months, but you've been doing it long before
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But what advice would you give for the young one watching that he's back at Ozzie Smith level, or he's back at I'm selling at flea markets level? What advice would you give if he wants to be like you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think, there's 3 elements, I think. 1, you gotta have fun.
Yeah.
You gotta have fun. 2, you have to be honest. And I hate that we're not in an honest card community sometimes.
Right.
You and I were talking about the other day, selling a card to somebody that you know is messed up. Dinging, you know what I mean? Whatever it might be.
It catches up to you one way or the other, man.
All the retail. Prism's up right now, and like people who buy retail and then they go back and they reseal it and take it back to Walmart. Those things crush me because I know it's crushing people.
Yeah.
So having fun, being honest, and then I think the third thing is like the community aspect of realizing it's not about you and your collection. It's a community of people, hobbyists, and I think that's what makes card collecting and just the hobby so great. Is that we all love sports. We're all crazy about it. How fun is it when you get together and you have pack wars with buddies, or you see someone hit a big card, or you save that card, or a card that person has that will trade you that's been holding it for you, or whatever it might be. So, being focused on others, being selfless, not selfish,
It's amazing, too, when you do that, how much comes back to you. Not in the form, necessarily, of a card or something, but the overall benefit, if you stepped out of time and were able to say, being selfless and giving ended up leading to this in my life.
Yeah.
You take that every time over keeping what you had every time.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer, you've got to train yourself to do that. I think, like, some of it you kind of naturally have a giving heart, but if you start giving, even when you have 100 followers and just a small collection, you pick one of your guys, because people say that to me all the time, and I know they say it to you, where it's like, oh, you're awesome, da-da-da, and it's like, you can do it too. Like, I know I've got expensive things or whatever, but this didn't start when I got on Instagram.
Right.
And same with you, like, pick a follower. If you have like a cool auto of, it could be somebody like Enos Cantor, like whatever. They love the Celtics. Just give it to them and see where it goes. You never know when that person needs that pick me up or needs that thing.
Yeah.
And then you start to train yourself to give.
Yeah.
And that way, if something damages your card or something does this or something you trade away and it goes way up for somebody else, like, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
It's gonna be, when you die and you pass away, you're not taking any of these cards with you. You know what I mean? So enjoy what the cards represent. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, a barrier to, it breaks down a barrier in just
all
like,
the time.
It strips away when you can say, hey, check out the Zion I hit. You mean Zion, the number 1 pick? Or I can't tell you how many times people are ripping cards in store, and I ask the kids, I'm like, hey, so and so, I'm like, go watch, check this out. And they get so happy. They get to watch breaks happen in the store or the breaks online or
it's
whatnot.
like watching Alex out here earlier. We were ripping retail.
Yeah.
And he opened it in the back. You could see it said Zion. And I could see his hand shaking. And I'd already had a couple of Zion base. It's a good card. It's $50 or $40. And it won't be that in 3 months.
It's a great card,
But I was like, you could see that moment hit him when he hit his first Zion. And I was like, you know what? Your first Zion needs to stay with you.
That was cool.
And you could see that, like, he'll not forget that. But less about the card. Will he later on have an experience like that with somebody else where you can say, I don't need the $50. Right? And pass that on and pay it forward. And I just love being around people and shops within my favorite vehicle, which is cards and sports stuff and sports memorabilia, that also get that and create a culture where that exists.
Sure.
And that to me is the most fun to be around, which is why I love doing this. Like,
I'm so stoked to just even talk with you about this, and thank you for putting me on the case hits. But it's like, we need more of this. I know you're a great pillar in this. I think about people like Josh from Cardboard Chronicles.
Yeah.
The people that are out there and they're trying to get that story
Sports
out.
Card Nation. There's so many good dudes.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And just don't get caught up, in the race. I mean, we're in this together. You know what I mean? And have fun with it. I love it. I love what cards are doing. cards are going to shift soon. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Supreme Court decision. We're a big college fan, so like
big time.
Can you guys imagine? You know, when there's gonna be packs out while guys are in college and you can pull their autographs. You know,
it's gonna be.
You know, I think
crazy.
that's gonna come very soon. I think platforms are changing. You know, we didn't really talk about that, but I think you're seeing the things with ComC and StockX and the forums. You know, I'm not talking about social media because I think that's becoming a little bit. But I think you're starting to see platforms emerge that will change the game for people. You know, and what a cool thing. You know, and we get a chance to be a part of that. So
it's all a blessing.
Yeah,
on that note, I want to show you all this. This was fun today. Got to pull this Ja Morant in the shop, a gold on somebody left the last box. I'll tell you, don't leave the last box.
You got a snakeskin and that in the same
snakeskin Jordan Poole, and that's to 10. First box of Prism. I came down here for Prism Party. We had it box 1.
We even got to the party. This is the pre-party.
This is the pre-party.
His first box.
We're just in the kitchen still cooking. But to me, the most important card of all this, and we did some trading, which was super fun, was this, which he had talked to me about at National and beforehand online. But so this is a 1955 Adolph Rupp Ashland Oil. And so the story, this was actually an Adolph Rupp card, hence Rupp Arena, from Ashland Oil when he was actually coaching. So this is like one of your earliest, first college basketball cards. And, of course, it's got a Kentucky guy in it. But it's the only one that has the perforated, the hole.
The unperforated.
And then the unperforated. Like, usually you rip these off and you take the card, and I've got some of those. But this is really cool because it's got a tab, and he was saying that a lot of them have like greasy thumbprints on them because the gas station team would come in and rip them out and then hand them to the kids or the people.
Or can you imagine grabbing it and then go pumping your gas like in your hand?
Right, like and of course back then these weren't the big deal. Like most of them were in bicycle spokes.
Yeah, yeah.
But with my history and my grandfather, who later, like I never knew because he died when my dad was 11, worked for Ashland Oil. So to me, we could pull a Zion, Prism, like none of that would touch this. To me, which is when you get to that point of collecting, and you can get there at any age when you just love what you collect and you collect what you love, and it's not always about the flipping. Again, not that you can't flip and go buy these. That's most fun, but that's special, and I just wanted to say thank you,
man,
because that meant a lot to me.
Definitely, you're welcome.
And it will never, ever leave. So,
and how cool is it that like that could come into a shop? You know what I mean? And I can know this can go to Jimmy. I think I showed it to you at the National, and I said I want to really work to get this, at PSA.
You did.
You know what I mean? And it finally they did. It's a pop 1, and it's with tab, and it's a unique card that this man appreciates way more than this Gator could ever appreciate. But also, he didn't tell me, the story about his grandpa, the story about Ashland Oil. And like, I didn't know that stuff, So it goes beyond card collecting, guys. And I'm so stoked for you to have that because I know it's going to go in your man cave. It's going to be on. I got one card to give Jimmy to go up on his racks there. He's got a couple other 101s that might go up on his racks.
Yeah, they're definitely going up. That De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Davis are going up. But I guess the last thing I want to say, and I want you to have a last word, but these are the type of people you want to surround yourself with in this community, in my opinion. It's the RBI crews and the Indy Card Exchange. Like, this is what you want. And Jameel here. If you're ever in Gainesville, you should come by. I'll do all the views of the shop and show you that. It'll be on this video either before or after this.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's cards. This is the type of place you want to come for because you're going to get honest and fun.
Yeah.
But then outside of cards, a vehicle, these are just good men to know in your life.
Yeah.
And good women too.
Yeah, it's so cool, like just to be able to interweave, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And like your wife and you are like the biggest sci-fi like nerds. I didn't even know this. My wife is like in love. I mean, it's just so cool. We have to share the fringe stories sometime too. Yeah,
definitely.
We'll keep that on wrap so your wife keep be a surprise.
Right. I don't want to.
Yeah. But
I'll show y'all. Don't worry. But is there anything thing that you would want to say to everybody that and you don't have to, but any wrap up? I think you've kind of said it about in terms of guys getting into this as a business, but just overall, about your shop. Anything you want to tell them about your shop and all that? Yeah,
so Meelypops is an old nickname for me as a kid.
I was gonna ask.
We tried to keep it something that was unique, different. You know what I mean? Not Gainesville sports car. Not that there's anything bad with those names, but so people always ask me, what does Meelypops mean? So it's cool for me to share that as a kid and old nickname I have. My name is Jameel. So that's what we are. I get that question a lot. If you're ever in Florida and you know right off the interstate, like right off the interstate I-75
it's
here,
worth it.
come on by. I'm so thankful to God. He's given us so much opportunity. You know, I'm looking forward to working with, you know, maybe some nonprofits here in town. I don't want to say any things or names, or
right,
it's just
right.
like, I don't know. It's all kind of formulating, and it's really cool to see this. We've been talking
Big things
about
are coming. There's no doubt.
So I'm just really excited to see what happens, and just being around people that truly, like you said, love others and care about other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what cards is the vessel for here in town, and I'm just thankful that I get a chance to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes,
to have the atmosphere, to have the community here, and to really, you know, hopefully people's lives change, you know, through cards. So I'm just thankful. Be thankful for what you guys have out there. Give, you know what I mean? And don't only just give base cards. You know, base cards have a place, but you know it's okay to give up some of those cards that have a little bit of value, because you don't know how much more that can mean to some people. And I mean, Jimmy could tell you stories on stories, but I'm thankful, man. If you guys have any questions too about what we do as a card shop, I'll throw my age out there. I turn 35 next month, so I'm not at the far end, but I'm not at the lower end. So I'm right kind of in between. I'm a millennial,
right?
And I think I get both sides of things. We're trying our best to be what I call a modern card shop. You know, we do breaks
and succeed.
You know, and we're growing. You know, and I'm thankful for that. We have the wax wall. You know, we have all these things that we do in the shop. We have consignment sellers. For another thing that you guys out there who do have shops is, if you have space, let your customers be a part of the shop.
Yes.
We have consignment here, sales. We have little cases. We try and make it affordable for people to have it, so they can have a place in the shop. And
they get some skin in the game. They feel a part of something.
Yeah.
Which is all of this.
Exactly.
All of this.
It's like a card show that's always changing here, because these guys are always coming and putting new stuff in. So, love to share more. You can reach me through Facebook, Instagram, shopmeelypops@gmail.com if you like to email us. And Jimmy's the man. You know, go out there and subscribe, link, share the case hits, and let people know, man. I'm a Gator at heart. I still gotta love this guy though. So,
hey, it's all right. It's SEC now. The Big Ten guys come.
I know those guys. Oh my
God.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much, and I'm gonna add a lot to this video on the side around the shop. And tonight we're gonna have a big old time. But
it's gonna be awesome.
Appreciate y'all always. I know these are long. I know everybody says keep it 2 minutes or less and all that, but it's like sometimes there are things of value worth taking your time and talking about.
That's true.
And this is one of them.
Us Southern boys like to be a little bit long-winded.
Yeah, we like to sit back and sip on something and talk about it.
Some Diet Mountain Dew and Coke.
That's right. All right, thank y'all. Appreciate you. Much love from Gainesville, Florida.
See you.
You got it?
All right.
So whole store pack war. Here we go.
The man, Jimmy. The myth and the legend.
Well, the problem is there's only 4 cards and you lose to me.
Yeah. So what are we doing? We're gonna
Whole store pack war.
Base number cards and their stats.
We got doctors.
All right, we'll start these. We got doctors, lawyers, and everyone in between.
Right.
Let's do lowest base number. If 2 people hit 1, then you have to do the next lowest one.
Okay.
They win the whole round. There's no all in.
Oh wow.
No all in.
You can't call it after.
Lowest, so you want a 1. Oh God. 39.
24.
Oh, 24.
25.
52 lowest.
Yep. 5.
Oh, he got it.
What you got, bro?
Nice card there. 153. I like that. That's sick, right?
Hey, what did Tony hit?
Yeah, Markel full.
Terrence Mann.
I got a nice little Jaron Jackson green.
Well, tied your own green in there.
GA green. All right, Tony.
All right.
Here you go, buddy.
All right, you.
Coming down. Next pack. Now, Tony, you get to pick.
What is that, a Zion?
Whatever you want. You got a Zion?
Went in Zions and Pack Wars.
Oh, you just hit a Zion.
That's perfect.
My home pack.
Who's your own pack? Oh, okay, that's good.
No, that's good then.
Yeah, I would've hated to
That's
see
good.
that.
That would suck.
All right, round 2.
All right.
You can do anything. Do career or anything.
Where's on base number?
All right, what are we doing? Same day.
So career number of games.
Lowest or highest?
Highest or lowest? Okay.
Well, Vince Carter.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Got a Kemba.
Alonzo Mourning.
Oh, yeah, Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, man.
Shaq.
I got a dope morning.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat.
605.
I'm not gonna beat any of those guys. Oh, I got 604.
I got 1,011.
Oh, who is it?
Trevor Ariza.
1207.
Who we got?
Check.
Oh, Shaq.
1226.
Oh!
Who you have?
Gasol.
Gasol.
Shit.
What?
RJ Silver.
Oh.
That's probably worth like.
They're $50. This year, little silver.
You could say all in if you want, but I'm fine. Because that's a lot. You're gonna have to buy out.
What do we?
It's not worth it.
17 times.
No, because you're losing a lot of money.
It's 112.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think you won, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
No. Well, lead one.
You got 12 something, right?
1226.
Yeah.
Round two winner.
Gasol.
Oh, no.
I got
Gasol for the win.
7.
That's rare.
All right, red, white,
Oh, you did
blue
Nasir
time.
Little. It's your night, Nasir Little. Silver Nasir Little. All right.
And a silver RJ.
So Wally gets to pick. It's anything you want, any stat or high base number, low base number. It could be jersey number, anything you want. Name, letters in their name. It could be whatever you want.
Go Gators.
Red,
Go
white,
Gators.
So we can do lowest card number.
lowest base number.
Yeah, lowest.
All right, lowest base number. If
Alright.
you tie, if you tie, it'll go to the next lowest base number you have in the tie. There's only 3 cards.
33.
Who hits the Zion?
95.
58.
Ooh, red, white, and blue LeBron.
Good thing I didn't have anybody in this one.
45.
47.
Who got rookies?
I got Reddish.
Reddish.
Okay.
Who got Jimmy? Oh, LeBron!
Oh, 33?
What number you got?
58.
I got 38.
Oh, it's going down. To
Brian gets a red, white, and blue LeBron.
Oh, Brian, where's it at?
Red, white, and blue LeBron here.
Rip it.
You can find those on the Tom C site later.
Right.
Tomorrow. That's Packboard.
That's awesome.
You want a round?
Yeah.
You want and Tony.
That's awesome. That is a great
whole
full
store
sword
did it.
pack war.